part 2, we rebuilt near the water after the raid, we farmed the ocean, and we did what we needed to do to make the base strong. We finished up by going underground, and down there, we met up with an old friend. Now, here we are back at base. Let's continue the story. From inside one of my suicide bunkers, I decided to send over some items that I would be using very soon. At this point in the wipe, there was no use keeping them hidden away. Building near a small monument is very useful, regardless of how far along you are in the wipe. Seeing how I don't have beds yet, the best way to pass the time of a cooldown is to spawn near something like this and do some quick looting. But finally, I got some beds, so I passed them over to each suicide bunker. This would make spawning in and out of the bunkers much faster. On my way back from a farming run, I stopped at a base that I had noticed earlier in part 2. Enough time had passed since this base was raided, and this time around, I found a satchel while looting, and the only thing stopping me from taking the tier 3 and the tier 2 that were glued to this base was the TC that was left behind by the raiders. So I decided to use the satchel to get rid of the TC and take the valuable workbenches for myself. Here we go. Oh god, this is huge. I'm just gonna take this stuff to Outpost. It's closer and I'll just send it over. After recycling some items at Outpost, I decided to do a little shopping. I found this SAR that was decently priced, so I purchased it with the intent of researching it. As for the items that I'd be using the most to swipe, I decided to send them over to my base using my shop trick. As I was setting up the second floor in my base, I took a moment to look outside the window in the real world. Out here, in the Midwest, Storm Elliott came charging through. Everything is covered in snow, and as I live out my wipe on a desert beach with the sun hanging high and the waves crashing at my feet, the real world provided a snowy paradise for my eyes. So for those of you out there that are surrounded by snow or any type of weather conditions that are dangerous, please be mindful of the people around you. Make sure your loved ones are safe, and don't forget to double check on yourself. After bringing home the loot that I had left over at Outpost, I grabbed some scuba material, some low grade, and my boat, and I went diving underwater for some much needed loot. Later that day, I was out looking for wood on my island when I noticed this large base beginning to develop right in the water that connects the island to the mainland. With the furnace burning like it was, this was clearly going to be a large group. So I made note of this, and instead of approaching and causing issues, I turned back and headed to my base. Alright, let's try this again. These guys built right here in the water. Right here. Didn't see that coming, but hey, we'll make it work. I need to get here, go underground, get some loot. Nice. Alright. That was a decent run. I'm gonna recycle everything that I have right now.
I recycled my pants, boys! I recycled my pants!
After recycling my loot, I decided to suicide and spawn at a sleeping bag that I had nearby. I was planning on taking the hazmat, the SAR, some bandages, and some ammo, and heading back down, collecting more loot underground near Outpost, and bringing it straight back up. That plan seemed pretty solid to me, because with only the SAR and the hazmat, I didn't have too much to lose. Yes, okay. That was the second run. That was great. Let me make sure my stuff didn't despawn. I'll go ahead and recycle, and we should be good. Now, as some of you may know, besides playing Rust and making videos, I love making music. And usually, my music has vocals on it. But this time, I experimented with some instrumental type music. So, I'm sending out a challenge to you guys out there. Can any of you guess which song out of the ones I've used in this video was actually produced by me? If you think you have an idea, leave a timestamp in the comments.
Brother, I appreciate that.
Want extra ammo? Want a red card? Want to go red?
Wait, take a 20
Sure. Thank you, boys.
How's he?
Since this is going to be the last normal wipe episode of the year, I wanted to take down some ideas for things you guys would like to see in the upcoming year. Please feel free to share your ideas in the comments because I'm going to write them all down and I'm going to do them one by one. Oh yeah, and there won't be a part 4 or anything like that. This coming Friday, I'll be releasing a new cinematic movie. I don't want to give any spoilers, so I won't mention anything else. But all I gotta say is that my style of movie creation for Rust won't be a simple wipe disguised as a movie. When I say movie, I mean fully scripted, cinematic entertainment. So please, hit that subscribe button and prepare yourself for a one-of-a-kind movie this coming Friday. At this point, I had enough wood and I had the large furnace researched. So I began building out the large furnace base that's attached to my main base. Beautiful. I do want to see how this looks. Nice. Alright, I'm gonna do sewer branch. I'm gonna take it all the way down in the water like so. Park right here. The dress kinda warm. Let's see how it goes. Traveling that far for a monument was very risky. Regardless, I grabbed my SAR, green card, and a fuse, and I took off south along the coast until I approached the icy lands where sewer branch sat. Once sewer branch was complete, I was able to make a clean getaway. Looking over the edge of the mountain, I saw my boat waiting patiently for my return. And so I hopped in and took off back home. Alright. That was pretty easy. It was loaded at first, but I just waited. Now I got a blue card. Perfect. And we live pretty close to airfield. That should be pretty easy to head over there. did a bit of base management and replaced my sheet metal doors with garage doors. After finishing that up, I grabbed a weapon and some armor, and I prepared to go do a blue card, in this case, airfield. Okay, I got most of everything that I want researched, but I want to do airfield just to top it off. Let's hope we don't get countered. After looting everything in airfield, I made my way out and exposed myself to the sun. I needed to make it back to base in one piece because I went from being raided to completely back on my feet within hours, and that was something I was proud of. Things had quickly turned around, and so with my researched items and all the loot I had collected, I lived out the rest of my life this way, and I was comfortable. So, before we close out this series, I just want to say I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday, because this year has been intense, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. But what I can say for certain is that it's been the best year I've lived so far, and I hope that's the same for all of you out there. If it's not, then make sure the new year is that year for you. But whatever direction life takes you in this coming year, just make sure you find your way back here and keep us all updated. Because once you become a dreamer, you're a dreamer for life. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next week. You've been watching an Orange Dream production.